Now, Amora is a supervillain. Without a shadow of a doubt, she's a supervillain. But her decision to bring back Thor and her son from alternate universe, I'm digging it so far. Will it come back to bite Thor in the ass? Probably. But so far, so good. Support the comic book industry by visiting LCS. My name is Dorian. This is SEO Comics. We continue our coverage of Immortal Thor, number 18. Our story starts off with Magni, the son of Thor. That is the best pronunciation I could do. Like, I watched so many videos trying to see how to pronounce this dude's name. That one sounded the best. Now, he's holding up Mjolnir, but in the narration bubble, it states how, in his alternate reality, Thor, right before Ragnarok started, he lost himself. More like he lost the humanity they learned over the centuries. And he teamed up with an old evil Loki. Now, there's not too many versions of Loki that is not evil, so they probably could have left that word out with just that old Loki. And Amora the Enchantress. So in a nutshell, they took over the 9 realms. I said 9, not 10, because at that time, it was only 9. But in this dark future, Thor and Amora had a child, and that child bore the best traits of both of them. He was the god of strength and the hope of Asgard, but then his tale ended. So in the present time, we have Magni standing here, and he's like, I'm not sure I understand, mother. And she's like, what is there to understand? It's quite simple. I tricked or guilted your father into bringing you back. So he's like, but why? And she goes, because Thor's going to die, of course. So the Magni's like, what? And Thor's like, yeah, the Black Winter shall be my future, and death hangs over my head. But I am the god of thunder, so I'm not going out without a fight. But then Amora chimes in and is like, but when Thor dies, he has no heir. So I decided to bring back his only begotten son. So Sif's like, and this was your plan all along, Amora, to rule behind the scenes once Thor dies and Magni takes over. So the Amora's like, I will only be advising the throne, but I will say this, it'd be a nice change to be a queen mother versus a prisoner. So the Magni is like, well, technically, you're not my mother, and technically, he's not my father, because this is not the time I was born in, and in this time, I was never born. So Thor's like, yeah, he was damaged, talking about his alternate self. But technically, he was still me. So let's play a fatherly son game that they play on Midgard. He goes, catch! And he throws Mjolnir. And Magni catches it. So Sif's like, that really doesn't prove anything, because technically you're the All-Father, so you can deem him worthy. And Thor's like, you're right, Sif. I could. And I have let you down as of late. Don't get it twisted. I didn't deem him worthy. But yet and still, he's able to wield it anyway. So Amora's like, how? And Thor's like, you're finally stumped, huh? That's about damn time. So he goes, yes, the hammer is heavy as what it needs to be when it denies somebody. But my son is the god of strength. So he's as strong as he needs to be. It's a technicality. How Ewing is doing a technicality. So then Magni and Thor just start playing catch with Mjolnir. And Thor's like, did the other me ever take you hunting? And Magni's like, yeah, of course he did. So Thor's like, you want to go with me on a hunt? And Magni's like, of course. We'll be hunting. And Thor goes, supervillains. So then we cut to the supervillains that took down Thor last time. And they're on top of a roof. And Hyde is pissed because he feels like Dario Agger was just using him as bait, which he is. And he's like, I should tell Dario where he could take his money. And then King Cobra's like, in your bank account, because you need it. So King Cobra's like, you need to stop being so emotional. And Hyde's like, I'm always emotional. So Grey Gargoyle's like, why are we up here? It's just too out in the open. Like, I don't want to go back to an American prison. So the radioactive man's like, would that be so bad? And Grey Gargoyle's like, of course it would be that bad. So the radioactive man, in a nutshell, pretty much explains that if he goes to a prison, that eventually somebody at that prison is going to do something to where he can get out and he'll go back to his country with the money in his bank account. In other words, he knows somebody that's going to do something about it. So the Hide's like, your smugness is insufferable. Man, if I gotta beat it out of your green hide, I will. But then Great Garl goes, look, up there. And it's a rainbow bridge. And it's not just bringing Thor. No, it's bringing Thor, his son, Amor, and Sif, the gods of Asgard. So Thor's like, you guys are all too stupid to pull this off, so tell me, who's behind this? And maybe I'll show mercy. So this pisses Hyde off, and he is ready to whoop all of them. So he starts charging, and Magni's like, who's this guy? So Thor's like, he's from a tale in Midgard from long ago. He wants to say Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but because of legal reasons, it's not in the book. So Thor's like, that's not the important part. The important part is that he is a brute of unimaginable strength. And Magni's like, unimaginable, you say, huh? And Magni catches Hyde's fist and punches the bejesus out his ass. I mean, gave him an uppercut from way down south. So Hyde is hurt. I mean, hurt. And he goes to King Cobra. He's like, my formula. You gotta give me some more of my formula. And King Cobra was like, if I give you a double dose, that could kill you. And Hyde's like, if I take another hit like that, it's going to kill me. I'd rather go out swinging. So King Cobra hands it to him and is like, all right, make it count. And he goes, my Cobra guys will give you a little bit of cover, so take it and go. So the King Cobra turns to Great Gargoyle, like just like before. Use this smoke screen to do your thing. So the Sith comes out of nowhere and is like, you can't blind a person that can see everything, and punches the bejesus out of King Cobra. So the Great Gargoyle sneaks up on Amora, grabs her arm, starts turning her to stone, and then Amora's like, that's kind of a primitive spell. Let me show you a better one. She reverses herself, turning into stone, and then turns him into emerald. Why? Because green's her favorite color. So Magni is like, what is this smoke? And Thor goes, it's pretty toxic. I mean, to us it's not going to do much, but to like a normal mortal, yeah, you can take him out quickly. So he uses Mjolnir and he clears all the smoke out, and then we see Hyde is huge and ready for round 2 with Thor's son. And Hyde comes with his own uppercut. I mean, from way down south. And Magni goes flying. And Thor's like, Amora, catch him. And Amora's like, why? And he's not going to be hurt if he falls to the ground. And Thor's like, true. But if he falls on any mortals down there, they're going to die. Then Hyde goes after Thor and he's like, this time when I break you, I'm going to make sure it sticks. And then he goes to punch, and Thor just sends Mjolnir right into his fist, and Hyde is screaming. So Thor's like, you know what? I owe you from last time. And he comes down hard with Mjolnir right on Hyde's head, and he is done. If he's not dead, he's in a coma. I don't know if he's coming out of it. So Radioactive Man is standing there, and Thor's like, my offer still stands. All you gotta do, let me know who's behind this. And Radioactive Man's like, that's a nice little plan, but I got a better one. I'm not gonna fight you. And oh yeah, by the way, the police are here. And the police are there, not just for Thor now, but are also there for Mor the Enchantress for what she did at Roxxon. So Mor's like, I'm used to this. How about you, Thor? And Thor's like, no, I'm not. But I don't feel like going through all this craziness, so Sif, let's just go. So then we cut to Dario Agger, and he's talking to his assistant, and everything is going the way that he wanted it to go. Mor is out of the company now, and she's a criminal. She's kind of always been a criminal. And he will take control of the company again as Dario Agger Jr. in about 3 weeks' time. And Dario Agger's like, you know what? There's no rush. I can wait. Besides, everything is going exactly according to plan. So then we cut and we see all the supervillains headed to a prison. And yes, Hyde did survive. And he's not in a coma, surprisingly. So the Hyde's like, so what happened to all that big talk you were saying on top of the roof? Huh? Radioactive Man? And he goes, wait till we get to the prison. And as they pull in, this in particular prison is ran by Roxxon Incorporated.